I'm Rick from Destination X, still going after episode 7. And this is my wife, Sonia.
Hi.
Sonia's going to be asking me questions about the show. See if I can remember all the way back to that episode.
So we watched it last night. It was kind of fun because this time we watched it we didn't watch it on Zoom, but we watched it. We were on Zoom while we were watching it.
Every other episode, we've been surrounded by friends and family. Mm-hmm. Our loved ones that I haven't told anything about the show to, they're excited to watch it with me. Well, we're just happened to be traveling, so there was no one with us. So we made a Zoom party where all of our friends and family Zoomed, like they got on a half hour early, asked us questions, or me questions. And then when the show started, everybody muted. And then when the commercial break, I unmuted, and then I would kind of give some context or some of my behind the scenes or some of my memories or what I was thinking at that moment.
Yeah. So if you are in the Eastern time zone and you want to sync your watching of the next episode along with Rick on Zoom, just send us a message and we'll send you the link to our invite party. At least for episode 8, we have no idea
what happens.
That might be the last one, but
yeah.
But we know now you're back on the bus, episode 8. Congrats.
Thank you.
And sadly, JaNa went home.
JaNa, I love JaNa. JaNa went live on Instagram this week.
Oh, yeah?
And as soon as she went live, there was like 6,000 people watching. And I'm like, I'm one of her fans. And I said, hi, JaNa. She stopped everything. And she's like, oh my God, Rick, birding with Rick. Hi. And then she went on like a 15-second gush about how much she loved me, how much she missed me. Yeah, I was like, aw. Yeah. Nice. So seeing her go home, like one of my secret alliance members, Peter, JaNa, and I.
And she really brought a lot of fun to the show because she always had something funny.
Her one-liners?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, to the camera,
yes.
She was like that in real life. She was sweet. She was funny.
Too bad.
I know. I missed her.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got some questions for you let's go back to the show.
Rewind.
So the show started with Mac leaving the bus and then Biggie still feeling bad about...
That's right.
Sort of making her go home.
Yeah, so we, leaving Salzburg, our minds were just going a million miles an hour because we now know what the tiebreaker rules were.
That would have been nice to know in the beginning.
Well, because we had guessed and surmised. Somehow we had it in our minds that it was speed-based. The tiebreaker was how fast you pick the correct location. And that's what Ty thought when she got out in Amsterdam. She was like, it can't be because I was so fast in picking Brussels. It wasn't Brussels, but she had picked it so fast because she was convinced we were all going to pick Brussels. And she thought the tiebreaker was speed. And I think she even mentions that. I was so fast in picking it. Well, that was the I'm so fast is because she thought that was the tiebreaker rules. But look, when there was a tiebreaker, they got the lawyers out. They explained to us the rules. Okay. There was no funny business. There was no conspiracy that this was to keep JaNa in the game. No, it was explained to us in depth the rules. So
after.
But no, they also showed we have tiebreaker questions and rules for every exit location.
Oh, different tiebreaker.
Well, they didn't say that. They just said and the lawyer was there saying yes. And it's a third party lawyer. I'm probably saying too much, but there is no funny business. They couldn't with that much money on the line. And if there was ever any proof that they tried to finagle who was staying in the game, no. I mean, their ethics and no. What do you think as a lawyer?
I'm not going to comment. I don't know. But, it's nice to know the rules of the game before you play a game. But,
so
what do I know?
My nickname growing up was Rulebook. That was something I told when I was getting on the game. I love knowing the rules. I love finding the loopholes in the rules to better game.
Yeah.
It was frustrating not knowing what the tiebreaker rules were. And they said, if you need to know, if it happens, we'll explain it. But I have full faith that it wasn't rigged.
Also, I guess maybe they're allowed to just to withhold some of the rules. And if so, like that does make good TV, I guess, because it did keep us on the edge of our seats.
Yeah. And that made it so I didn't want another tiebreaker. Like, you'll see at the end of this episode,
Yes.
like, if we all agree that it's whatever, if we all agree it's Venice or we all agree it's Ljubljana, then we're all going to be in a tiebreaker again. And I wasn't willing to do that because I didn't want, like, if it was Pete that won,
way too risky.
Pete would take me out because I'm a bigger threat than JaNa.
Yeah.
So I was not willing to go to a tiebreaker.
Right. So now you have to avoid tiebreakers. So you want to make sure that you split up the map placement if you could.
If you can.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Okay. So then you guys get on your goggles, which, by the way, the eyebrows they were looking a little shaggy.
Oh, it's a couple weeks in. If you've plucked them, it's growing back. If you didn't pluck them, it's just going. Rah.
I'm not sure if I'm the only one who notices these things. And I'm not obviously a very makeup plucking kind of person, but the eyebrows
bother you?
Well, no, I would not have been happy if I was on TV and then I had a stray eyebrow that was like this. So I
don't know who watches those goggle close-ups without staring at the eyebrows. It's all I can see. Okay. I don't look at the irises. I don't look at the color of the eyes. I just look at the eyebrows and then try to guess which person it is.
So if you're watching this, please comment below if you do notice the eyebrows or not, or if you're looking at.
And who's got the best eyebrows? I think it's me. I plucked it.
Yes.
Because you told me to.
Well. Yeah. All right. Full disclosure. Let's just go for it. You didn't just pluck.
No. Sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
I got a full-on facial. First facial of my lifetime. A week before we flew out.
Yeah.
Just so I was looking good.
Yeah, you got a facial and all the hair stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, watching the hair, like I need to fly to Turkey.
Yes.
It's thinning. I had no idea I was thinning as bad as I was.
Oh no.
Until
okay. Comment below if you never noticed Rick's hair. It's fine.
It's thinning.
Drop
me off in Turkey, give me the implants, get me out of here.
No. Rick.
All right, what's your next question?
Too critical of yourself. Just tell Rick that he looks great, okay, everybody? This is the least of our worries. Also, what I was going to talk about with the hair was I did notice, Biggie in this episode, he kind of had this little bit of a helmet, and then you had this little bit of a helmet. Like your hair was getting long. We
went on the show with our hair high and tight.
Yeah.
Now it's been 3 weeks. We've both missed haircuts. We need haircuts bad.
Did you guys notice that? I'd love to know.
And then all of a sudden there's a flash to Biggie and he's got a beard. I'm like, where did that come from? It was like a confessional. It was like 3 days of hair growth. I'm like, oh, that looked odd, out of place. And then it goes back to bus life and this beard's gone.
Oh.
That's the continuity that the producers are always trying to get,
Yeah.
Don't grow a beard mid-show because then you can't go back and forth. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but he did.
He did.
What?
Anyways.
All right. So keep on watching to see if Rick and Biggie get a haircut.
Spoiler. Maybe.
Okay. So, first challenge, you get dropped off in this location that has a river, and then I think there's some mountains or hills that you could see.
Mountains in the background.
Somebody's like, I haven't seen water in months or whatever. Had you seen water?
No, we were told to pack four swimming suits. We hadn't used any at this point. Funny enough, they didn't tell us to wear swimsuits that morning.
Yeah.
So I'm wearing not my swimming trunks, but like running shoes. Yeah. And another behind the scenes, they told me, don't wear your glasses. Put your contacts in. So coming onto the show, I had never worn contacts before, but I thought maybe I might need them for any activities or skydiving or anything like daredevilish. So I got contacts.
Yeah. I
packed them. And then I told the producers, if you ever need me to wear the contacts, just give me a heads up and I'll put them in. They told me this day, first day, since the premiere, since the first first day of filming,
Yes.
I had contacts and then glasses until that morning. And so I was like, guys, I have to wear contacts. I don't know why I'm whispering, but everyone got excited because it was like, oh my, we're wearing active wear and contacts. We're going skydiving or something awesome like that, bungee jumping. And that was, the whole bus was alive because that was the rumor.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no.
And I'd be like wanting to quit because that's terrifying.
But no.
Okay. And if you watch the episode, they did not go skydiving, but they went canoeing. Woohoo! Okay. So you have this river in front of you. Did you get down on your knees and lick the water to see what kind of water it was?
To see if it was maybe like a saltwater river? Good question.
That's what I was thinking. Like, if you don't know where you are, and you think, well, are we close to an ocean or a spring?
Yeah. So they didn't show it, but between leg 2 and 3 on the river, I drank from it. I was so thirsty from having paddled so hard and ran to the clues. I was dying of thirst. So I did that while we were getting back into the canoe. So I could tell you it was cold. It was refreshing.
Spring water?
I did not get any sort of Giardia or fungus from that.
Maybe you did.
Could be. But it was definitely glacier runoff. It was cold water. It was from the Alps.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it was going down.
It was going downhill towards the ocean.
Did you think you were near a port or the ocean?
No.
Okay. So you're thinking inland.
Definitely inland. That's why I was thinking afterwards Slovenia. We were nowhere near the exit destination. Like, we had not driven that. We had not driven to Venice.
The destination X for
I'm just Venice is the answer.
Yes.
No clues. Like, I was clueless that it was Venice.
Yeah, I'm still a little confused, to be honest. All right. So you and Shane were paired up in the canoe.
So happy about that.
You said something that when we were watching it last night, I could tell you were pretty upset about.
I was a little embarrassed. I thought they were going to edit that out. I said, don't show this on air, which probably means, all right, we'll save this and show it. When I'm like, Shane's the motor. I'm the brains. I'll go solve the riddles. You just paddle like heck. Yeah. And that's what he did. I mean, he didn't stop. Okay. The whole time paddling. Boom, boom, boom. And so you saw I'm in the back. So in canoe driving school, the driver's in the back, right? I'm steering. He's paddling. Yeah. It worked out great. We never got turned around. And in fact, we were the fastest boat by far.
Yeah. It did seem like a stacked.
And you saw how fast I solved the riddles. Like that. The Ljubljana, like I knew that was the capital, which was wrong, but I knew that like that. And then the marble that didn't float, I knew it within a half a second. I walked up, read the clues, grabbed the bag. Like we lost no time. Where other teams were like, oh, what is that? What is that? No. We were fast. We flew through that challenge.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So it was a good team.
It was a good team.
Yeah. Shane's a good guy to have on your team.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, I guess we'll talk about that later. But here's what I really want to
tell you, okay. Well, Shane's a good on your team. The next challenge.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Aren't you glad he was on your team for the first challenge?
I was. He was strong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he was paddling like really fast, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. He didn't help with any of the clues.
He did. With the songs, it was down to 2, Madonna.
Yes.
And
and you did 50-50.
And he didn't do that, but he's like 50-50. I got this intuition, and he grabbed Madonna.
Oh, this is what
I know, but it's voodoo magic. It's incredible how he does this.
Shane, can I have you on my phone a friend anytime I need to make a decision? You're amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of that one question where there was Elton John, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Simon and Garfunkel, and Madonna.
Yeah.
Okay. Like if we went right now to look at your CD collection from 1999.
I've got all those CDs.
That's it, right?
So I grew up in a Simon and Garfunkel phase. I have all their albums. Red Hot Chili Peppers. That was my. I'm a high schooler. That's a cool album. Red Hot Chili Peppers. That was definitely.
Yeah.
I love them.
I wanted to go to their concert, but
Yeah.
then I think my parents found out that they only wear one sock or something at their concert. Do you know that? Do you know that?
Fleas one sock in the front.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
They rock out naked.
I didn't go.
Madonna, I have her immaculate collection. I had a couple of her albums growing up. Yeah.
And Elton John.
Like
so
those are my
burning question. How depressed do you feel knowing that like that you knew all of these people and then like JaNa's like, who's Elton John? That we live in a world nowadays where no one knows any of these.
I'm proud to say my kids know all those artists.
All right, we raised them.
We raised them right.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not teaching your kids Madonna and Red Hot Chili Peppers and Simon and Garfunkel, something's wrong with you.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Yeah.
Okay.
We did it right.
Okay. Parenting lesson from Rick and Sonia.
Yeah. Good music. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then someone had heard of Simon and Garfunkel but didn't know Bridge Over Troubled Water.
Yeah.
And that's a classic.
I guess.
Oh. I guess maybe that's the advantage of being the old guy on the boat.
Yeah.
I knew those pop culture references.
I like you said boat. I don't know. Okay. So then, okay, we'll talk about, there was this conversation. Oh, first of all, you mentioned something about, I know how to canoe because my wife and I just canoed like a month ago. Which, by the way, there I am again in this show that I did not sign up for, nor did I try out for, or whatever.
But you're in every episode.
Nor would I qualify to be on.
But you trained me well.
Yeah.
We chose canoeing as something to do a month leading into the show.
I know, and I could tell that Destination X was on your mind. I mean, it had been for a few months before that. And so, but this was like our one day. I remember this day. I think it was a holiday because I was working really intense at a law firm, and it was like our one little, like, let's do a nice trip.
A romantic picnic.
Yes. Okay. And it was like, I just need to decompress. I need to get out in nature. So we drive an hour. We go to this beautiful location. We rent a canoe. Yep. It might have been a kayak. I don't know. And I just wanted to look at scenery. And I pictured you like looking at birds and us being like, paddle, stop. That was what I expected.
That's how I remember it.
No, Rick. This was you. This is me training for Destination X. And I'm like, I couldn't even keep up. And like the pace was like making me more anxious and my arms are hurting. And I mean, I appreciate that you were training. But you owe me a relaxing
It wasn't the romantic getaway picnic that you had in mind.
No. I mean, it was a nice topic.
I think I saw some birds.
Remember how, that's...
It helped.
You needed
won
that
the challenge.
to win that challenge.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I owe you a relaxing
like a
trip.
spa day without you. How about that? My own day off. Okay. So that's what I have to say about that challenge. And now I want to ask you about also about something that you said on the bus. JaNa was saying that she was feeling like she was behind in her life because when she was 10, she wanted to get married at 27. Which I get that. Like, I don't know. Like, you want to be so true to your childhood dreams. And I'm, I get how she feels like some dissonance with that. And then they cut to you being like,
oh, all the things JaNa wanted, I did. Not 10 kids, but we had 3 kids by definitely 27. It feels like when they ever cut to me talking, it's always me about my family, which I guess I was talking about you guys a lot because that was one thing that I had allowed myself to talk about. I had hidden so much about my career and my travels. What was left is I could talk about you and the kids.
Yeah.
So that dominated my conversation.
One thing though that somebody pointed out at our Zoom watch party, which made me laugh, but also I'd like to ask you about. So on national TV, you said, "Oh, but when my wife and I met, we knew we were going to marry each other within the week."
Yeah.
But my story is that we knew we were going to marry each other within the weekend.
Oh, it took me I'm always a few days behind you. You know that. Yeah.
Just to clarify, like,
okay.
What do you think it was?
Well, it's just within that week that we met each other. I mean, that was the week, right?
Okay.
That was what I was thinking.
For me, it was like 2 days, and maybe actually 1 day.
Aw.
It might have been like 3 hours. Yeah, but
yeah. No, it was.
You don't have to say.
Love you.
I'm a tough sell. I get it.
I had to convince myself. No. We knew.
Okay.
We both knew.
Okay.
I'm gonna cut that
out. So second challenge, yeah. Pete chooses your team. It's you, Pete, JaNa, and you were really mad, and you said it on TV.
And yeah. I was fuming while it was happening, and I'm just like, I think I've got a connection with Pete's brain because when he was choosing Mac as a tiebreaker, I'm like, choose Mac, and I thought he picked up on that. So when he's picking the teams, I'm like, don't pick me, and he picks me. As soon as I knew he picked me first,
yeah,
I said it's going to be JaNa as well because the other team's not going to choose her.
Shoot.
So the only chance for us to get split up was for him to pick somebody first that wasn't me.
Yeah.
He should have picked Biggie, or he should have picked Allie to break up the showmance.
But yeah, he was probably thinking, I need a strong team, I need to trust my team. I don't know.
He should have picked Biggie to keep Shane and Allie together, but then have me on their team or JaNa on their team.
Yeah, just one person.
Yeah, keep them in the dark or keep them together, the showmance. And if they both win, they both get it. Because if they're split up, they'll get it anyways.
Yeah.
So have somebody on their team, whether it's me or JaNa.
Yeah. Right.
That was so. But as soon as he picked me, I was like, now we're either gonna have all the power, which he was hoping, or we're gonna have no power, which is what happened.
Yeah.
No clue, because normally the winning team on the second challenge gets a big clue. This time they didn't. The big clue was just being saved.
And was it that giant flag?
No.
It wasn't a clue?
No. It was, we're going to raise your team's flag, and they didn't even show that team the flag, and it didn't have anything Venice on it. It just had a shield and swords, which is not Venice. Venice would be the winged eagle, the Venetian lion, winged lion. Yeah.
I feel like
the rules keep changing,
and the clues kind of aren't consistent.
Like up until this point, first challenge gives you the country, second challenge gives you the city. This one, they made it hard.
Yeah, so the first challenge, if it gave you the country, it would have been Slovakia.
In my mind, it gave us marble, it gave us
Madonna,
and Ljubljana.
Uh-huh.
Those three, and then a postcard which had all those. Well, it had marble in it. It had Madonna, so Mother Mary Madonna, not Madonna the singer, but Madonna Virgin Mary was on that marble. I know now is a bridge. Didn't look like a bridge in the picture. No. It looked like a side of a building.
Yeah.
So nothing on that told me Venice. I didn't know it was a famous bridge because it was so closed up.
Yeah.
But if Madonna's in there and marble's in there, then Ljubljana has to be in there somewhere. And since we couldn't see it anywhere in the picture, the postcard must have been taken in Ljubljana.
Yeah.
That's how it's in there. So that's what got me on Ljubljana, Slovenia.
Yeah.
The whole time.
My theory is actually Ljubljana is the thing that is not Destination X. Like, that's your clue. You're not in Ljubljana.
So you're in Mykonos, Greece? You're in Sicily, Italy? No, none of those made sense. So, but going into challenge 2, now I'm thinking Slovenia. Are there any other clues here that give me Slovenia?
Yeah.
And I pointed out the colors. One team is red, one team is blue.
Yeah.
And there's a crest on the door, which is in the middle of the playing field. Yeah. So that red-blue crest is on the flag of Slovenia.
Well, then...
And it's on the flag of Slovakia. So I'm like, aha. I know it's Slovenia, and I can misdirect to Slovakia with JaNa.
Yeah.
And Pete.
Yeah.
If I have to. And I ended up having to. And that's how I used that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that... Okay, so here's my other question. How confident on a scale of 1 to 10 were you that you were actually... Destination X was actually Slovenia?
No, like
or
6 out of 10. That's why I said I don't even know where we are.
Despite all those clues, because like that actually is pretty convincing, I would say.
But it wasn't like the other cities where I'm like, I know where I'm at. I know for sure there's a solid clue. Look, if it was Venice, there's no gondola. Like, is a canoe supposed to be a gondola? Maybe that's what they're thinking, right? You're in a gondola the whole time going down a canal under bridges. I'm like, after the fact, you think about it, you're like, that makes a lot of sense. But when you're in it, you're like, oh, this is just a challenge.
Yeah.
And also, like, show me a gondolier, those the striped shirts, right? That's so Venetian iconic. Didn't make it.
Yeah.
I don't know. And we were far away. These challenges were far away from Venice.
You knew that because of this following the sun as you were driving?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I thought for sure we were in Slovenia or Slovakia.
Have you looked up to see where you actually were now?
Yeah.
And you were far away?
Not too far.
Oh, stop.
No, it was an hour and a half away.
Okay.
But it could have been also an hour and a half away from Slovenia or from Ljubljana.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We were kind of right in the middle.
I think that's the thing about Venice is like everything around it is not like Venice. Like Venice is its own thing.
Venice is the island.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're doing all these challenges not on the island.
If you're anywhere near Venice, it's nothing like Venice.
That's right.
Because it's kind of remote in that way. Yeah. Because I remember another show, they had Venice as a final destination, and they had no idea where they were, and it was so close to Venice.
Yeah, because they were in the south part, in like those marshes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the answer was Venice. It's like, should have remembered that.
Oh, okay. JaNa said that you were like an uncle to her.
Oh, yeah. Well, remember, my strategy getting on the bus was I want to be like everyone's dad, like the fun dad. That was the character. Remember in episode 1, Jonah called me dad.
Yeah.
And I said, good night, kids. Well, so this is perfect. A fun uncle is great for a fun, substitute for a fun dad.
All right, cool.
I don't know. She's 20 years younger than me. So.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got the uncle status. Cool.
I'll be a fun uncle.
Yeah. Did you notice the map on the war board that they talked about at the end of the episode?
No.
Oh.
Not at all. We were so focused on placing our soldiers.
Yeah.
Like, it just looked like a swirly design.
Okay.
Like, I want to get a close-up of that.
Huh.
And to see how closely it resembled
what
Venice. But would you know what Venice looks like from an aerial view?
In my head, Venice, the shape of Venice is like, I don't know. It's just
like a yin yang or all these islands. It's a circle.
I don't know.
I would. I don't know if you were to shown me that if I would have known what it was. Yeah.
It would have been cool if you noticed that. Mac would have noticed it.
It's all the coulda, woulda, shoulda with Mac. We're always going to ask ourselves, Mac would have known.
Okay, there's a few more things.
All right, Mac, comment, would you have known?
Yes. Or Ty. Or anybody else who's maybe watching. So your reputation at the end of this episode is that you scammed JaNa into putting her ex on Croatia.
Yeah.
And then she went home.
Because I was so confident that Ljubljana was right. So here's somebody again who thinks they're right, but they're completely wrong, and they're convincing other people of something.
You're like referring back to episode 1?
Yeah, episode 1. Allie telling Rachel that they're in Cannes. Like, it's careful who you listen to. Like, JaNa put all her faith into me that I knew where I was. I didn't know where I was.
Yeah.
In fact, she could have beat me had she put it in Croatia, but closer to Venice. Because Croatia, in some spots, is closer than Ljubljana. Yeah. So I could have been sabotaging my whole game by saying that. But thank goodness she went south. Remember, she said, "Oh, it feels warm. I'm going to go in the south of Croatia." And thank goodness she did, or I would have been gone. But Pete put Italy. He also didn't share that with me. He didn't share that with JaNa. So he was kind of doing his own thing there too. As soon as we all knew we were all in the map room, like, we kind of clammed up, because you're only helping your competitor now. They're no longer your alliance. They're your competition.
Yeah.
And so you saw me go and ask Big E for help, because I wanted to know what they showed the winning team.
Yes.
Did they show you anything? And they said no.
Although it made it look like they were all like, well, we're not telling you.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny.
But Big E remembered, like, I saved him in Austria. Like, he and I still had a thing. We were close. We were bunkmates. We shared clues. They don't show much of that, but he and I were, I wouldn't say it was a formal alliance, but I was on his side.
Okay. When you say bunkmates.
All right. We were not sharing we were next to each other.
What does that mean?
Like, at the far end of the bus, I was on the very edge, and then he was right next to me, right here. So his head was next to my feet. Okay. So I could open up my curtain, and he could open up his, and we could see each other, and nobody could tell that we were talking to each other, because we were kind of stuck at that back end of the bus.
Nice.
And the only other person that would have been able to see it was Josh, but he was out first. So that kind of left a perfect spot for Big United. But there was a camera there, so camera could see us.
Yeah.
But nobody else.
It's all about locations sometimes.
That's right.
That's probably the theme for Destination X. Well, did you want to talk about anything else? Because that is my question.
Oh, where do you think we're going next?
Where do I think? Well, okay, so they did say that the next episode is in Venice.
Yeah, so they released that. If you look ahead, next episode is like the players run around Venice. So, spoiler, we stay in Venice for another episode.
And so, like, the fact that you've gone back to Italy now twice does throw us off. Like, it's hard to predict. I guess I would have to guess that you're going to go and drive, how long would it be? Somewhere like 11 hours, something, to Spain or something like that. Because you haven't done that.
You haven't gone that far west. Yeah, good guess.
Yeah.
All right. Very good.
All right, put in the comments below. Where do you think?
Love to hear from you. If you're watching this on Patreon, thank you. If you're watching it on YouTube, it means you could have watched this way sooner if you're part of my Patreon. So join Patreon, and then you can have direct access to me. Send me all your questions, and I'm going to answer them real time. All right. Onwards to next episode.